Hey guys, welcome back to the Prehistoric Life Podcast. I'm your host, Eric Crawford, and today we're closing in on the semifinals for our tournament. But today we have Alioramus versus Suchiomimus. So we're going to dive right in talking about the Alioramus. So Alioramus coming in at 2 meters, which is about 6.6.5 feet, a little over, if you will. Coming in at 6 meters long, which is 20-ish feet, coming in at a whopping weight of 2.5 tons, 2.75 short tons, and having a very weak bite force. So, according to the study published in Idiom, IDUNN, in Dun, lots of that, Alioramus, a theropod dinosaur, has a relatively lower bite force at the midentary than other dinosaurs and not other tyrannosaurids and non-tyrannosaurid theropods. With similar mandibular length, this suggests that Alioramus may not have been able to deliver a powerful bite or withstand high torsion loads. And as you can see, since it is a tyrannosaurid, it does have weaker, smaller, tinier forelimbs. So this will actually be a huge inhibitor for Alioramus, based on the fact that it will be able to bite, of course, but it will not be able to hold on good to the Suchiomimus. So that will actually greatly inhibit the Alioramus to an insane degree, because if it does get its jaws around the Suchiomimus, it won't be able to hold on to it tight enough. So now let's dive into the Suchiomimus, coming in at 3-ish meters tall, which is about 9 to 10-ish feet, coming in at about 10 meters in length, which is about 32 feet long, coming in at a weight of 2.5 to 3.8 metric tons, or 2.8 to 4.2 short tons. And the Suchiomimus, according to a 2021 study, the Spinosaurid's third pod, Suchiomimus, had a bite force of about 4,037 newtons, or around 400 kilograms. This is comparable to the bite force of an alligator, which suggests that Suchiomimus may have been able to catch land-based prey. However, some say that Suchiomimus' narrow jaws may have been too fragile to take on large prey. Suchiomimus' diet primarily consists of large fish and small to medium-sized dinosaurs, pterosaurs, and scavenging animals. So I would place Alioramus in that range. And the thing about Suchiomimus is it has powerful jaws. Yes, that's true. I would place them above Alioramus. But it's also got longer reach with its jaws. It's larger. It has more weight to throw around. It's longer, which doesn't really help. I guess stability does help a little bit. It has that huge claw on its finger that will seriously help tear apart the Alioramus. It's got actually usable forelimbs that will be very dangerous for the Alioramus. But before we get into this fight, here's a word. Well, let's transfer over to the fight. But before we get into that, here's a word from our sponsor. Take it away.
Thanks, Podcast Eric. Now let's talk about today's sponsor, Dinosaur Trips. If you love looking at these amazing creatures that I show you, and even talking about these amazing creatures that I talk about, and you want to go see them in real life, I heavily suggest you look at Dinosaur Trips. Dinosaur Trips, created by Zach, gives you behind-the-scenes in-look at museums, and he even takes people out to digs. So if you sound interested in that, go to www.dinosaurtrips.com and tell them that Prehistoric Life sent you, and they'll give you $250 off your tickets. And here's their Instagram if you're interested in giving them a follow.
So now let's dive into this fight. Next to a creek, a lone Alioramus ventures into to a drink. Suchiomimus comes on this, walks in from some bushes or whatever, who cares. It sees the Alioramus near its home, and it roars at the Alioramus. The Alioramus, startled, turns and spins to see the Suchiomimus. As they see each other, They charge in. This is where our fight begins. The Alioramus goes for a bite, but the Suchiomimus jerks its head back, slashing the face of the Alioramus, leaving a giant gash down the side of the face of the Alioramus. Right down the side of the face of the Alioramus. The Alioramus, not fazed by this, bites the arm of the Suchiomimus. The Suchiomimus is able to jerk its hand out from the Alioramus's jaws. It bites down on the neck, just swinging the Alioramus in a circle. It starts spinning and spinning. The Alioramus trying to jerk itself free, but the Suchiomimus has a good hold on it. The Alioramus is eventually able to rip its neck from the jaws of the Suchiomimus. The Suchiomimus taking its large claws and hooking one into one side, probably the opposite side of where it was slashed, into its eye socket, blinding the Alioramus, and the other one towards the base of the neck, right under the spinal cord, as it then bites the Alioramus on the side of the neck, clamping its jaws down. The Alioramus screams out in pain as it tries to jerk itself free, blood gushing out of its wounds as the Suchiomimus rips some of the throat out. The Alioramus is able to jerk down. Being smaller than the Suchiomimus, it's able to jerk itself free, ripping the giant claws of the Suchiomimus out of its body as it stumbles back. Shaking in pain, the Alioramus roars at the Suchiomimus, but the Suchiomimus is not fazed. The Suchiomimus charges in, going for another face slash, but the Alioramus bites its arm, clamping its jaws down as tight as it'll go. The Suchiomimus takes its other hand and stabs it into the side of the neck of the Alioramus as it starts to try to jerk its hand free. As it tries to jerk its hand free, it spins sideways using its superior weight to throw the Alioramus around, eventually ripping its arm from the Alioramus's jaw, shattering the hinges. The Alioramus's bottom jaw goes limp. As it tries to roar out, the Suchiomimus bites the face of the Alioramus, ripping flesh from bone. The Alioramus, slowly bleeding out, stumbles back, but the Suchiomimus that bites the bottom of gets low and shoots up, biting the throat of the Alioramus, clamping down, ripping a chunk of it out. As the Alioramus is sitting there bleeding out, trying to stumble away, the Suchiomimus charges it, ramming into the side of the Alioramus, knocking it over. As it places its foot on the side of Alioramus, it rips into the side, starting to feed. The Alioramus slowly bleeding out a bloody death. So, yeah, I don't think anybody was really surprised. Killer Croc is clearly moving on. It towers over Alioramus. It has height. It has reach. It has weight. It has bite force on it. There isn't really much that Alioramus has that Suchiomimus isn't, able to counter. The only thing that would give Alioramus the edge in is speed, but Suchiomimus isn't slow either. So it might be able to speed, but it can't do enough damage to a Suchiomimus. And an Alioramus would be within its, prey range. So Suchiomimus is our winner, and we'll be moving on. If you want to see more content from me, go check out my Instagram at Prehistoric Life Podcast. There you can see additional content that I post and yada, yada, yada. You can see all the other stuff that other people post. You can see what's coming up. You can see reels. You can see just everything I post pretty much. If you want to see my content 2-ish days in advance, I try to post it 2-ish days in advance on my YouTube. Go give that a subscribe. We hit 100 subscribers. If you want all of my content in one place, go hit up my YouTube, or not my YouTube channel, my website, prehistoriclifepodcast.com. From there, you can get to my YouTube and my Instagram. And that is all from me. I'm your host, Eric Crawford, signing off. This has been Prehistoric Life Podcast, and I will see you all next time. And remember, keep it prehistoric. Goodbye.